Good day, everyone. I am Angelica FIDER, one of your reporters tonight. I am going to discuss about descriptive writing. So, what is descriptive writing? As the name suggests, descriptive writing is a type of writing where an author describes a person, place, or object. The purpose of descriptive writing is to help readers visualize everything that's written. In other words, readers imagine themselves to be a character in the story, experiencing different events and situations. It creates sensory experiences by describing, illustrating, persuading, and demonstrating descriptive details. In descriptive writing, the author does not just tell the reader what was seen, felt, tasted, smelled, or heard. Rather, the author describes something from their own experience and, through careful choice of words and phrasing, makes it seem real. And descriptive writing is vivid, colorful, and detailed. Good descriptive writing creates an impression in the reader's mind of an event, a place, a person, or a thing. The writing will be such that it will set a mood or describe something in such detail that if the reader saw it, they would recognize it. And to be good, descriptive writing has to be concrete, evocative, and plausible. To be concrete, descriptive writing has to offer specifics the reader can envision. Rather than saying, her eyes were the color of blue rocks, try instead saying, her eyes sparkled like sapphires in the dark. Next is to be evocative. Descriptive writing has to unite the concrete image with phrasing that evokes the impression the writer wants the reader to have. For instance, your sentence is, her eyes shone like sapphires, warming my night, versus the woman's eyes had a light like sapphires, bright and hard. Each phrase uses the same concrete image, then employs evocative language to create different impressions. Lastly, to be plausible, the descriptive writers has to constrain the concrete, evocative image to suit the reader's knowledge and attention span. For instance, your sentence is, her eyes were brighter than the sapphires in the armrests of the Tipu Sultan's golden throne, yet sharper than the tulwars of his cruelest executioners. This will have the reader checking their phone halfway through, right? Then you must say that her eyes were sapphires, bright and hard. I think that's better, and that creates the same effect in a fraction of the reading time. And as always in the craft of writing, when in doubt, you must write less. The following sentences provide examples of the correctness, evocativeness, and plausibility of good descriptive writing. Her last smile to me wasn't a sunset. It was an eclipse. The last eclipse. Noon dying away to darkness where there would be no dawn. The sunset filled the sky with a deep red flame, setting the clouds ablaze. The waves rolled along the shore in a graceful, gentle rhythm as if dancing with the land. And because descriptive text is so powerful, many examples of it can be found in famous literature and poetry. And the mystery novelist Raymond Chandler was one of American literature's masters of descriptive language. And this sentence from The High Window strikes the perfect notes to embody its subject. It says here that she had pewter-colored hair set in ruthless permanent, a hard beak, and large moist eyes with a sympathetic expression of whetstones. Descriptive text examples can also be found in many songs, since songs are meant to capture your emotions and to invoke a feeling. One of the examples here is the song Blank Space. In her hit song Blank Space, Taylor Swift uses concrete and evocative descriptions to evoke two very different impressions. The first one is cherry lips, crystal skies, I can show you incredible things. Stolen kisses, pretty lies, you're the king baby, I'm your queen. And then she said, screaming, crying, perfect storm. I can make all the tables turn. Rose garden filled with thorns, keep you second guessing. Now let's talk about the 7 tips for writing descriptive sentences. The first one is cut out obvious descriptions. One of the most common traps that new writers fall into is using predictable words to describe something. For instance, writing a sentence like, "The blue sky was dotted with white fluffy clouds." For the most part, when someone hears the word sky, they'll picture it blue. And when they picture clouds, they'll picture them white and fluffy. Well, adjectives like these are unnecessary and can bog down your writing. Second, use surprising words. Once your sentences are free of any obvious descriptive details, you have the space to pepper in some more interesting words. Pushing your descriptions in new and surprising directions will help your sentences be memorable for readers. For instance, if you want to describe a rainy day, the easy way to describe it would be to mention the stormy sky, but something a little more unique could be the angry sky or the boiling sky. Third, remember sensory details. A common adage for good descriptive writing is show, don't tell. And sensory information is a great way to make that happen. Sprinkling in specific details that appeal to readers are sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. That will bring your scenes to life and make them feel richer and more interesting. Fourth, make use of figurative language. One of the most powerful literary devices that writers have is figurative language, which goes beyond literal definitions in order to describe things in a more interesting way. Comparisons like similes, such as using like or as or metaphors, that can help paint instant pictures of your characters or settings. For instance, his nose was a gnarled root growing out of his face. That can pack a lot more punch than saying his nose was twisted and misshapen, right? Fifth, think about who is doing the describing. In most points of view, you'll be writing from a character's perspective, either using I and me in first person or they and them in third person. It may not seem obvious at first, but point of view is a descriptive element that can help you build a believable world for your story. And to use POV properly, make sure that you're thinking about your character's perspective as you describe so that the description feels true to the way they would speak. Sixth, be wary of over description. To create effective descriptive writing, less is more. Try to limit yourself to one or two interesting details the first time you introduce a character or setting, and readers will fill in the rest. For instance, if you say, "The cabin room was sparse except for the looming stuffed grizzly in the corner," readers can fill in the details for themselves without you needing to describe the floorboards, the windows, the bed sheets, and what your character had for dinner last week. And this will help readers remember each character or setting better than if you had an entire descriptive paragraph for each. And lastly, read good examples of descriptive writing. If you start to feel stuck when trying to write vivid description, look up a few of your favorite books or short stories and see how other writers do it. Also, pay attention to what they do that you like, whether it's only writing their description in simple sentence structure or making sure that the following sentences include strong action to counteract the description. Then, sit down and try to replicate their tactics in a simple writing and see where it takes you. So that's all. Thank you for listening and have a great night.